Hi guys. Well, you can see this beautiful vulture up here. He's mad at me because I walked by and walked past his dinner. So God bless this little possum who died to feed these beautiful vultures. This is the other one in the tree there. I'm leaving, y'all. I'm leaving. Oh, look, there's like several others. They're getting a meal today. Well, my uncle and my aunt in Ohio, the only ones that actually talked to me. My uncle went in the hospital last week with dehydration. So, of course, they told him he had HOXID-19. And, they're making him sicker, obviously. He's so weak. And they told him he needs to wear a mask in the house and that she needs to wear a mask in the house. And so they're doing it and they're following orders and staying 6 feet away from each other. Oh, y'all, it's just depressing. So I drop shipped them and my other uncle who has all his heart disease problems and tooth problems. I drop shipped them the nutrition and physical degeneration books from Dr. Weston A. Price. And if you guys haven't read those, you should. If you haven't read that book, in my opinion, that is the single most important nutrition book ever written. Because Dr. Price went to 10 different continents and studied like 14 different countries and studied the Aboriginal tribes, the Malay tribes, the Canadian Indians, the Seminoles in Florida, the Eskimos, the Irish, the Gaelic tribes in the North and East Hebrides, the Swiss. He went into the Swiss Alps. He went to Africa, studied the Maasai. He went to the Congo. He studied everyone, and he took pictures and examined their mouths and found that the people who followed their native diets, all their teeth fit in their head. They had very few cavities. Their bodies were formed properly. And if you look at their pictures, it doesn't matter what race they were beautiful, right? Because they were formed properly. And then you can see within just one generation of them putting in, like a modern store. So this is in the 1930s when he did this. In the 1930s, they were starting to introduce wheat, white flour, sugar, and, other canned goods to these populations. And within one generation, you got kids that their teeth don't form properly. They don't have room in their skulls for their teeth. Their teeth are rotting out of their head. And it's very obvious, like they'd have one kid born earlier and like the last kid would be born deformed because the mother had stopped eating the natural diet. And so that child was deformed because of it. Because it's not just what the mother eats while she's pregnant, it's what the father and the mother and even your grandmother and grandfather were eating, because your gametes are going to be not formed properly, right? You're actually going to have deficiencies in the gametes that are produced before conception. And the elites know all this. That's why they push this vegan diet, this horrible bullshit. And they've been pushing it. This is the 1930s. And the interesting part, back then in the 1930s, there was a big fight raging on about the reason why humans were degenerating was because of people mixing races. And Dr. Price proved that that's not true. He actually proved that it doesn't matter how pure your blood is, right, in terms of your breeding. If your parents or you were not eating properly, you were not going to be formed properly. And so a lot of people have called Dr. Price a eugenicist, and they're full of shit. Because if he really were a eugenicist, he wouldn't have come to the conclusion that it's your diet and not your blood. Hi guys, look at these girls out here. See? They're all happy. This is how cows are being tortured, right, according to the vegans. See, they're all very curious too. But this is what cows, that's their life, right? They hang out in the field and they have one bad day in their life. And that's why people should get into farming, right? Because look at all the manure around here, right? All this manure, what does it do? It feeds the grass that grows again here in the springtime. And another thing, vegans, what the fuck are you gonna eat out here, huh? Besides these cows, can you eat that? Is that lettuce? Right? Is there any fruit out here on these cedar trees? Do you see any leaves on the trees? Right? We're frugivores, right? Show me the fruit. Show me the fruit. Where the fuck is the fruit? Oh, look. We can eat some mistletoe up here. You want to eat that? That shit's poison. Right? Look at this. You want to eat that? This thorny... that thorny bush. You want to eat that? What are you going to eat, humans? Huh? What are you going to eat out here besides these cows? There ain't nothing to eat. In fact, for them, there's not even that much to eat. They are grazing because there is a little green grass around here. A little, but not much. It's supposed to snow this week. These guys are all... Cows are interesting because they always want to know what you're up to. They're very curious. See them mooing at me like, do you have some grain? You have some cattle cubes? You have some hay? I would think you'd see them bringing hay out. We used to always have hay for our cows during the winter time. Our cows were a lot more friendly than these were, though. Like, our cows would follow you. Like, I would have had a cordon of cows following you everywhere, wondering if I had some minerals for them or some cattle cubes. You only give them cattle cubes are like alfalfa pressed into cubes and a little bit of corn, not much, just like you'd see like a grain of corn in like one cube. It's not much, but you'd give it to them. Say we had like 50 head of cattle, we give them like 100 pounds of cattle cubes every day for all of them when it would snow, right? And it only snows here like once a year, maybe twice if you're lucky. So we didn't give them a lot of cattle cubes. They don't need it. You can plant the fields. A lot of people, you'll see some green pastures around here, and that's winter rye or winter wheat. So I don't know. I'm just depressed that I can't even get my own family to listen. They're all sick, and they don't listen. My aunt is opening up canned soup and giving it. That's not soup. I never eat canned soup ever in my life. I go and I get a chicken or I get chicken feet and I put it in my pressure cooker and I make real soup. I have real soup in my refrigerator at all times. I save the bones from every single animal I eat in a freezer bag, and when I get enough, I make soup out of it, right? Like, so that nothing goes to waste. Because when you cook food, you actually get rid of the nutrients. But there's some things that, we can't really digest very well, and that's bones. So, there's nothing wrong with using bones and like feet too. Nothing wrong with using everything. If that animal has to die, because this is a food chain. This world is a food chain. You cannot escape. It's just how it is. When you die, something's going to eat you. Even if you're in a grave, the mold is going to eat you. The bacteria is going to eat you. Whatever is going to eat you. You can't get away. Like these little birds, they're out there looking for worms. Probably a lot of worms these days. Maybe not near the surface though. Looking for bugs. Not a lot of bugs out here. Probably looking for grain too. Little seeds that might be left over. But the earth is a food chain, and the elites know this well. That's why they tell you to eat plants, so that you grow up and your brain is not formed properly. You can't breed. Soy is good for you. I mean, they're just, when you eat canned food, when you eat cooked food, it's dead, okay? Not only, there is some nutrition left in it, but I'm telling you, the amount of nutrition left in something that's pasteurized or boiled is nowhere near what it was when it was raw. And that's why you see these animals that are so strong to eat their natural diet. These cows out here, these cows could whoop my friggin' arse, right? Because all they ever do is eat their natural diet. And they're in ketosis all the time, because when they eat plants, the bacteria in their stomachs, in their rumen, creates volatile fatty acids. And that's what they live on. People don't understand that humans can't do that. Like I showed you that vulture. Well, the vulture's pH in their stomach is 1.0. Our pH in our stomach is 1.5. So we're some sort of two-legged vulture, basically. Right? I mean, we actually have a lower stomach pH than a lion. A lion has like 3.0. And then a cow's pH in their stomach, any of these herbivores, needs to stay around 7, which is neutral, so that their bacteria don't die. And one of the bad things about these factory farms with what they do with cattle is, they feed them grain. They feed them corn specifically. And corn actually kills the bacteria in their stomach by making their rumen more acidic. It brings it down around 6 or 5. And when that happens, they start feeding the cattle baking soda to stave the corn off from killing them. Because then they don't get volatile fatty acids and they starve to death. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, And I don't like to see animals tortured, but I also don't like to see people tortured. And you look at these cows, they all got eyes on the side of their head, and we got eyes in the front of our head, and they know. They're instantly afraid of us upon being born, based upon the fact that your eyes are in the front of your head. And they're not afraid of each other, they're not afraid of horses. They know each other. They know each other. They know a prey animal and they know a predator. And they all know I'm a predator. Look at them, wondering what I'm up to. It would be the same thing. There was a coyote in here a couple of weeks ago, and they were all paying attention to the coyote. Because the coyote, he wasn't very big. I don't think he could have hurt any of their calves, to be honest. Maybe besides that one. There was one in here, a blonde calf, that she had broken her leg. He could have gotten her, I think. Especially because she was literally sitting right there, alone. So, anyways, it's just depressing. I can't even get my relatives to listen. I send them all the information about HOAX-19 and PCR is not a test for an infection. I don't know how people can't understand this. Just because you have something inside of your nose, where your nasal hairs are, where your mucus is, and you get it on a swab, right? That doesn't mean you have an infection, right? An infection is in your bloodstream, it's in your cells, right? Like, you've got pollen in your nose, you've got dirt, there's tree pollen, flower pollen, there's dirt, there's dust. Are they saying you have a dirt and the dust and a pollen infection? No, because they're not even reporting that. They're just lying to you, And even Carrie Mullis said so. I send this to everyone. And even the reason why my aunt and uncle don't listen to me, because their son is a doctor. He's a cardiologist. And, he's buying this bullshit. Like I told him last May, I was like, so if PCR isn't a test for a virus, like if you actually went to school and paid any attention, you know that. I mean, I know that. Right? And I just have a lowly chemistry degree. Although being from a fantastic university, better than where he went. Right? They just know what Rockefeller medical schools tell them, right? They just know to follow orders. And it's disgusting. But anyways, I told him in May, I was like, so tell me how you know this isn't bacterial pneumonia. And he was like, oh yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, duh. I mean, all of a sudden, bacterial pneumonia doesn't exist anymore. Only HOAX-19 exists. That's it. It's the only thing that exists in this world. Everybody who gets sick, no matter what it is, dehydration, which is, my uncle's always not eating right. He's probably eating a lot of sugar, right? This is after the holidays, so he ate a lot of sugar, a lot of junk. And then people tell you, oh, drink water to be hydrated. No. Go take a bath and get out. Are you hydrated after that bath? No, you're not. Like, you got to put on lotion after you take a bath or a shower. And what do you think happens to the inside of you when you drink water? It's not hydrating you. Drink raw milk, raw whole milk. Because the body is composed of cholesterol. And you also need those minerals, right? So that you don't wash out all of your electrolytes. Because when you're drinking water, that's what you're doing. That's why, like, when you fast, you use salt water, right? Salt and potassium water, so you don't get ill. Because if you just drink water and you fast, you're going to be dizzy. You're not going to feel well. That's what happens, but we're just lied to so much because there's so much money, right? There's so much money involved with cooking your milk, making you sick, right? And then, so the orthodontist gets $4,000 from you for each kid, right? The dentist gets thousands of dollars to fill your kid's teeth with mercury. Then your kid is sick their whole life, right? Eating wheat and corn and stuff like that. Like I had bronchitis 3 or 4 times a year when I was a kid, and it stopped once I stopped eating wheat because I'm really allergic to it. I'm also allergic to these damn cedar trees. But nothing is as bad as when I was eating the wheat and making my whole body inflamed. I don't have as much allergies anymore. It's just depressing. And then, they sell you acidophilus. So they cook the milk, they kill it, right? They kill the milk, and then especially this ultra pasteurized stuff, so dead that it doesn't even need to be in the refrigerator case. Do you know that? They lie to you about that. They put it in the refrigeration case. It doesn't even need that. You could sit it on the shelf as long as it's not open. It lasts for years because it's absolutely dead. Then they sell you acidophilus, which is the bacteria that's actually in the milk that they killed in the first place, right? And then they sell you probiotics. They kill the food. They tell you to eat everything cooked. Oh, eggs are evil. I've been eating raw eggs my whole life. I've never, ever gotten sick from any raw eggs, ever. I had 4 raw eggs last night in a glass of milk and drank it down. I'm not sick. In fact, I felt better after eating it, right? But they want you to eat everything dead. Look at these vultures down here eating this meat. It ain't cooked. This poor little guy, this guy wasn't here yesterday. So, but are these birds sick? No. And they only have 0.5 on you in terms of hydrochloric acid in their stomach. I don't know. But the government knows this. These elite people know this. That's why they, Dr. Price actually started, he was in with the start of the American Dental Association, and they threw him out, because he was saying that this is caused by, nutrition, lack of nutrition. And he proved it. And they didn't want him there. Why? Because they make so much money fluoridating you, giving you mercury. They make you dumb, and they make you docile, and they make you weak, right? And they make you angry and mentally ill. All of these things. In fact, in the book, it's very interesting. He was talking about the correlation between murder and cholesterol levels. When people go to prison for murder and, antisocial behavior, they're the people with the lowest blood cholesterol levels. In fact, he found in these tribes that there was very little violence amongst the people because their brains were properly formed, their bodies were fed properly. And if you look now, like this, in this world, when you see how many narcissistic people there are, I honest to God believe it's from nutrition. I believe that, people's heads, they can't even, like I have my wisdom teeth, right? And they wanted to rip them out of my head. My head is fully formed. I can fit my wisdom teeth. It's not normal that everyone has to have their wisdom teeth ripped out of their skull. It means your skull isn't even big enough. You realize that your brain and your skull isn't even big like it's supposed to be if you don't have your wisdom teeth? You don't have room? I mean, this is how evil the creatures are that rule this world. They know exactly what it takes to get rid of us and to harm us, and make us fat and sick and dumb. God, people are dumb. Like they cannot think for themselves. And it comes from fluoride too. Fluoride was used in the concentration camps and the gulags. It makes you docile, right? I remember when I was a little kid, they used to come up in the 3rd grade, these dental people, and they'd come to our classroom in elementary school with their pink pills of fluoride that we were supposed to put in our mouth and then show off how much plaque we had. They were poisoning us in our classroom and then giving us fluoride toothpaste to take home. This is how far-reaching these people are. And one of the reasons why I talk about them being the switch skeletons, because there's really no other reason to talk about it because it doesn't matter that much. But the reason why I've talked about it is because they're not us, right? And people People can't seem to understand that these people don't love us, right? This guy in a faraway castle doesn't love us. He doesn't give a shit about your health. Bill Gates does not love you. And his fake meat is not for your health, no matter what lie they tell you. I mean, even on the package of the it says indigestible cellulose, because cellulose is indigestible to humans. You're not a cow. You don't make cellulase enzyme, which the cell walls of a plant are made of cellulose, whereas an animal has a cell membrane, and a membrane is made of phospholipids and studied with cholesterol. And that's the difference between trees and dogs. See? Man's best friend. Hi, guys. Yeah, get him. Good job. Keep barking. I like these dogs. They're so cute. This one over here, she's a mama, the one that barks. And the little one is her pup from this summer. The little one doesn't bark yet. I think she lets mama handle it. Hi, girls. Hi, girls. Good dogs. Good job. Keep barking. Protect the house, though. These guys, they're always out shooting. In fact, some of my neighbors up here are also shooting all the time. I guess they know what's coming. I just wish, I think, honestly, the big linchpin of how they control us is via diet, right? I mean, that's how they destroyed everyone. And if you'll read Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Dr. Price, you'll see, he has pictures in there of how beautiful everyone is, whether they're an Aborigine or a Malay person or from the Congo, how beautifully formed they are. And then the people, as soon as they start eating these modern foods, they're sickly, they're weak, their teeth don't fit in their head, their skull isn't formed properly. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific to see what they've been. And that was 1930s when this was done, right? I think they introduced Crisco in 1905, I believe, and they used it and said, oh, it's more healthy than lard, because it kind of looks like lard. But it's not, because the human body does not recognize plant food as food. Like, oil is not fat to the body. That's why you can never be satiated. That's why Lay's potato chips can say nobody can eat just one. They know. Like, if they fried it in lard or tallow or something like that, the body would get satiety signals from getting some fatty acids that it needed. But since it doesn't ever get a satiety signal because plant oils are not recognized by the body, you just keep eating and eating and eating, and you can never, and people think, oh, I just have no discipline. No, your body is looking for the oil or the animal fat that you promised it, right? It knows what the taste is. It gets ready to digest this stuff, and it's not there. And so it's like, eat more. God, you're not feeding me, eat more. And they know this, they spend millions of dollars with Genomics and all these other scientists trying to figure out how to keep you eating their product and never being satisfied. Nobody can eat just one. Same thing with Genomics. I don't know if you guys know what Genomics is, but they take the fetal kidney cells from aborted fetuses and they use it to test flavorings for PepsiCo. So all these flavorings, right? When you think you drink a Pepsi or whatever, drink these Cokes, you eat this junk food, and it's like you can't stop, right? So many people, my mom's one of these people who can stop, but I'm not. Like, if I start drinking or eating that stuff, I cannot stop. And I realized what it is, And it's on purpose. It's like fucking witchcraft. It's so evil if you think about it. Anyways, I just wanted to rant a little bit today because I'm frustrated that my relatives, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that my relatives are dumb. I'm embarrassed that they don't listen, and that they don't use their brains. You know, like, does it make any sense at all that if you can't breathe, to cut off your airway? I mean, the first tenet of CPR, and I don't know, maybe they're not CPR qualified, and I am. I've been CPR qualified since I was 14. You know, clear the fucking airway. APC, airway. Oh my God. You know, and wearing a mask in your house? Are you insane? Are you absolutely out of your effing mind? And then, like I said, for them to have a doctor, that's my cousin, and his wife is a heart surgeon. You know, and for them to perpetuate this bullshit, it just irks me. Right? Oh, they're so much more educated than me. Yeah, well, educated to the point where they don't use their brain. You know, and they're really, these doctors, they disgust me because they're willingly part of this. They enjoy being the heroes on the front lines without ever having to enlist and actually do anything hard in their life. It just disgusts me. You know, and people love doctors, but let me tell you what. Let's talk about doctors. Doctors bleeding people for centuries. Doctors giving lobotomies. Doctors giving electroshock treatment. Doctors endorsing cigarettes and saying that they're good for you, right? And saying that they're fine. Doctors prescribing drugs like thalidomide, where kids were born without legs and arms. You know, because you had some sort of you were sick. You had morning sickness, so they gave you thalidomide for the morning sickness, which gives you a deformed baby, right? What they give you is worse. The drug they give you is worse than the malady that you have. Look on, like, Vioxx is another thing. I was prescribed Vioxx when I got hurt, you know, because I had arthritis really bad after breaking my neck and jaw. I mean, it was horrible. I couldn't even get out of bed. They gave me a Vioxx, and I looked at the molecule, and I was like, nope. That looks like poison to me, you know. And it was a brand new drug too, which even if I hadn't known what molecules are poisonous or not, I would have been skeptical. And I didn't take it, and I got written up, you know, for not taking my medicine. But you know, they killed, was it 50,000 people with Vioxx, right? Same thing with this other shit, Avelox. I had pneumonia, 2009. They gave me Avelox, and I took one pill of Avelox, and within 10 minutes, I could not stop peeing. But then it's like I couldn't pee. It was like I had a UTI, and I never had a UTI in my whole life, ever. And I go to the doctor, and this is like around Thanksgiving, 3 days later, and I told him what happened. I said, you know, I took this pill of Avelox, and within 10 minutes, I'm burning. I'm just burning. Oh, you know, you have a UTI, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, like, that's impossible. I've never had a UTI in my life. They're like, when was the last time you had sex? I was like, 2 years ago, you know? And they didn't believe me. Well, you know what? They're having lawsuits now about Avelox ruining people's bladder, killing the nerves in the bladder, right? And this doctor is telling me, oh no, that's not a symptom from Avelox. Yes, it is, you bitch. Oh my God, I mean, people believe in doctors, you know, of all the things, and then they sold us this cholesterol lie when they all were in the same class as I was. How is your body allergic to cholesterol when every freaking cell in your body is composed of a phospholipid bilayer studded with cholesterol? How? And the liver even makes cholesterol because cholesterol is the repair mechanism of the body. Were they not paying attention in the same classes I was in? Like your undergraduate basic biochemistry and molecular cell biology classes on how the cell repairs itself? And they push these vaccines. I mean, Thimerosal has mercury in it. You know, in page 4 of the MSDS of mercury, Thimerosal says that it causes asthenic vegetative syndrome. And these doctors, I mean, it's just disgusting, you know, because they get paid to put these kids on these vaccines. And then they tell you about the cholesterol lies, and these poor children, they have no chance in this world. They're deformed as they grow up. And then they're poisoned with the water and the vaccines and the food that isn't food. And we're supposed to believe in these doctors and follow everything they say when all they're doing, most of them are killing us. And the ones that they consider the quacks are the ones that are probably more likely to help you. I don't know, it's just so frustrating. Follow the experts, the experts, the experts. Well, you know what? The experts are paid to lie to you. Like, what good does it do me to lie? I don't make any extra money. In fact, people hate me for telling what I know from all the study. They hate me for going against the experts. They hate me, right? What good is it for me to have a differing opinion when I'm just, ignored and told that I'm stupid and crazy? Follow the money. The people who are getting paid are the ones that have the motive to lie. But I think we're just beyond that. Like, I think people are so dumbed down. They're not going to believe anything that's on the TV, that's not on the TV. And that's where we are. And so I'm just going to try to, like I said, I'm going to keep saying stuff. I don't think it's really going to do much. But I'm going to keep saying stuff and working on my own health. And I don't think there's any getting out of this. Dr. Price even showed you that people are a lot less likely to succumb to tuberculosis when they're eating their regular indigenous diet. And I find that interesting, because my great-grandma, my dad's mom's mom, had tuberculosis, and they lived in Tennessee. And so the doctors told her, you need to get the hell out of Tennessee. It's too damp and cold here. So they moved to Abilene, Texas, and they had a dairy in Abilene. And my grandma survived, right? And my grandmama, my great-grandmother survived. My grandma and her brother, no tuberculosis, nothing. Why? Because they grew up on the farm. My grandma, she used to milk 50 cows like twice a day, right? I mean, this is what they were up to. And that grandma who grew up on the farm, she lived to be 95. She probably would have lived longer, but she was dumb and used to cook with Crisco. But I think, her saving grace was she used to drink milk with every meal. She'd have a big glass of whole milk at every meal, and she was never a sugar person. If she ever ate any dessert, it was ice cream from Braum's. And she wasn't, she just wasn't a sugar person besides the occasional thing of ice cream, which Braum's has some pretty damn good ice cream. Especially if you get the kind, like I like just chocolate chip or something kind of plain. You can taste all the butter fat in it. It's good. Eggs and butter fat. It is cooked though, which, I don't know, at least it's not ultra pasteurized, so there still is some nutrition in it. Anyways, this was my Sunday rant about my aunt and uncle and my other uncle. Hopefully, I don't know, I sent them those books. Hopefully they'll read them. I doubt they will, but I tried. See, here you go. This is winter rye. But see, it's not looking so good. See how it's brown or kind of yellow? It was looking really good, and then we haven't hardly had enough rain, I guess. Is probably what it is. Well, it's going to get some rain this week. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.